Hey, what's up, guys? This is JH.
And this is BB.
And this is the Chop It Up Show, episode 5.
Yo, we in the building.
What's goody?
Chilling, man. Man, good week so far. We're actually ahead of schedule because we're taping on Wednesday.
We're taping on Wednesday.
Instead of Friday.
So,
short week.
But you know what? It has been a great week. It's been a super eventful week.
Mm-hmm.
Top on the list, Yay dropped.
Yes.
Right now, the number one album on Spotify and iTunes.
Got it.
It's a great album. Also, we have art in from Leon Johnson.
Yes, Harlem.
I want to give a shout out to Leon Johnson, the one, the only.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great piece of art, making the space look great. But let's go ahead and get into the show.
Yeah, jumping in. I mean, we have the LinkedIn challenge still going. John, you have one video up. I'm guessing you're going to put up another one before the next episode.
Yep, I do.
I am putting up a video today. So we'll both have at least 2 up.
So what we'll do is let's screenshot each of our stats and then throw them in here.
Yes.
And just like stack it up and see who did what.
Right. Got it.
Cool?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you guys should send in your videos as well.
Yes.
So what do we got? What are we chopping up about?
What are we chopping up about today? I kind of wanted to bring something. Siren, do we want to keep going?
Yeah, keep it going.
Kind of want to bring something back about the freedom situation last week. And
yep.
I looked up something that was very helpful for me to differentiate what freedom really is. And like it's financial independence is what I was talking about. So that's basically like the ability to live off your resources that you already have,
right,
without having to worry about anyone else. And so like that's the number one goal. And I wanted to tie up that loop from last week.
In what way?
That's what I wanted to say about the loop. Like that's the ability to create income from your own personal resources.
Just feel like you had something. Did you watch episode that?
Yeah,
and you're like,
something on the table.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, I want to bring it up.
But also I had here some quotes or some sayings that I wanted to get your replies on, and I'll chime in on them too. So we get these quick hits today. So,
okay, shoot.
Quote number 1: work harder on yourself than you do in your job. What does that mean to you?
I mean, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Let me handle my business. Damn. Right? That's not, when you said that quote, that's what came up. Like, I am my business. My job is to work on me and elevate my game so I can build better businesses.
Okay. Another one. As you level up, talk about the decision fatigue. That's something that I know that I've been going through as I've been leveling up.
That's a cool area to explore. Let's do that. So for you, I find it interesting because you're a fashion influencer, but you dress really simply. So talk about why you do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think you can. What happens is you go really hard at something and you try to get super creative, and then you get to the point where it's the diminishing returns. And so that's what I did. I was suiting, I was this, I was that, and then I realized to make it real simple, to not be over the top and to last over time. And so I thought to just simplify everything. So I thought to Mark Zuckerberg and to Steve Jobs it.
Right.
And so I tend to wear gray shirts every day and suit pants. And people still love it. I wear cool sneakers and things like that. So it makes
switch it up.
Yeah, it makes my life so much more easier. And then also with decision fatigue, I think just like having processes. We talked about processes before. People build processes run companies. And no matter who you are, what you do, whether you're a content creator, whether you're a podcaster, whether you just work in corporate America, you have to have processes to run your life, because you're the person, you are like the CEO of your own business.
Right.
So,
dope.
What is that?
I resonate with that. I mean, I heard Obama say, he was like, hey, he's like, do you know how many decisions I have to make in a sink? His job, wow, I can't imagine that. His job was to just make just dozens, if not hundreds of decisions a day that impact millions of people.
And he has to he wakes up super early and has to be briefed on 1,000 things that happen all around the world while he was asleep. And he has to be ready to jump right into those in his first morning meeting.
Right. And then, which it's all mind blowing. Okay, so let's see.
I got another one.
What is it?
Work to learn, not to earn. That's usually when you're early in your career. Ideas around that?
Agree. I mean, I agree. It's
That one's are these too simple?
These are too simple. I think we're in a different phase in our career. We can explore different territory. That's like for someone who's starting out.
I think this is for like people like. Can you talk about the time when you were working to learn and not working to earn? It sounds like right now you're working to earn.
Well, I'm still learning. But to your point, yes, there was a time when I was just starting out. Honestly, I was always earning while learning. I say earn while you learn.
You cut the line. I love it.
Earn while you learn, because why not?
Why do you think you were able to do that? What were the characteristics or what were the levers that you pulled that made folks pay you while you were learning?
That's because it was my reality was never set on someone else paying me.
I like this.
So when you can bring your own future into your own hands and say, yeah, I'm going to learn and I'm going to make money while doing it. If you're not going to pay me to do it, I'm still going to find a way to get paid to do it. So what does that mean? That's what being an entrepreneur is, taking risk, financial or otherwise, putting time in. By the way, so let's talk about one thing real quick. This might be the first real thing that we talk about this episode, so maybe we can cut right into it. But I'm fucking sick and tired of hearing people say that they need money to get started. Like, so let's explore an idea real quick.
I have a good saying on that too.
In the past year, since I've been buying real estate and really going heavier with Harlem Capital investing, I've discovered that money is the least important part of the whole equation.
It's a vehicle or a tool.
It's the least important part. Why? Because if you have something of value, money follows.
Wow.
So when you chase money, you're in the wrong part of the equation there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So for instance, in real estate, you're not supposed to buy on a budget. You buy based on the deal. So when I was just getting started, I was trying to buy a 3-unit apartment because that's what I could afford. And I ended up pursuing a 10-unit building. So I stretched beyond what I could afford alone.
Got it.
And what did that do? Because I couldn't afford it alone, that forced me to have to involve other people and bring them into my orbit to execute on the project.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I learned experientially through going through it that money follows value and follows a good deal, not vice versa.
Wow.
What do you think? What do you make up? How important has money been to you getting started as an influencer?
So for me, I agree. I believe your talents and the way you can articulate your dreams to folks is the number one thing. And then lastly, just like the work and the strategy that you put forth. And then money is an amplifier, right? Like it's a growth hacking mechanism for me. So I do agree that money is not the best thing, but I think that people need to understand that money is a tool or a vehicle that expands your economies of scale. Basically, it gives you economies of scale. Another thing I was talking about, or I wanted to talk about on that, was a big Jim Rohn quote where he talks about don't wish that things were like easier, wish you had better skills. Or he also talks about don't wish that what else did he say? I'm drawing a blank.
Forget what that guy said.
Forget what he said.
What do you say?
What do I say?
I mean, so let's get out of the hypothetical and the quotes and the this and the that, because it's easy to get caught in that place. And I want to root this in your experience, right? Like, because you have your own wisdom, rooted in your own experience. So I see you personally, reinvest a lot of what you make into what you do. But when you were starting out, you still had crispy photos and whatever. So were you paying them? How are you coming up with the cash to pay them? And did you get away with paying them less because you had a bigger platform, or how did that whole thing go?
When you don't have money, you have to barter. So you have to bring value. And so with someone like Andy or someone like Nick from Coastal Flicks, I bartered partnerships with brands. So if you had a chance to shoot with me, I introduced you to a brand instantaneously. And I did whatever I could to make sure that brand somehow became a client or someone who sent you product, so that you can add that to your portfolio.
Nice.
So that's how we initially started.
There we go.
What also happens is there's like a business acumen exchange, if you will. So you have a partner who's with you in the trenches, who gives you ideas and has a different viewpoint. And so they're almost like your co-founder, your business partner, but they have their own business and you guys get to share. They're like colleagues, if you will, which is something that entrepreneurs probably really need, which is probably why co-working spaces are so appealing.
Right.
Because you get to go through the trenches and you get to see other people who are sleeping late, or not sleeping late, working late, and not sleeping or sleeping in, if you're in a startup
By the
space.
way, about co-working spaces, like funny side tangent, people give off the sense, the co-working spaces all give off the sense that it's like all about hustling and staying late. But at 5 p.m., that shit clears out.
Most people, so there's two things about co-working space. For some people, co-working space is like, hey, I didn't want to buy an office in Midtown Manhattan, so I wanted to get something that's quick, cheap, here, and it has everything that I need. And then in terms of some startups are like, yo, I need somewhere to sleep tonight, because we have folks that are in our circle that have slept in co-working spaces at nighttime. So it just depends, man. It's different folks, different strokes. So
Yeah. No, I just find it funny because the whole industry, I feel, has benefited from marketing this whole, hey, it's about hustle. I feel like people. So it's a fascinating term. Observe the messaging that appeals, but then the behavior, right? They all are communicating this, hey, hustle hard, work till late, anytime, let's build great shit and dedicate your life to something awesome. And in reality, the majority of the people will take it way more passively. And that's fine. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying it's interesting the type of messaging that is attracting a certain audience, and then the difference with how they're actually responding against that messaging.
I would go even further. Like, I mean, WeWork, which is the biggest co-working space like in the world, is like a real estate play, right? And now, especially in like metropolitan cities, real estate plays are all about luxury. Can I get you to not leave this building? Can you have a gym? Can you have classes? Can you have a doorman? Can you have a rooftop? Can you have like a workspace? Can someone walk your dog? Is there all this stuff? There's a gym downstairs for actually play basketball outside of just working out. Can we do all these things, have all these like commodities around you so that you pay more?
Right.
And that you stay, and that you get hooked on the quality of life that we bring you, which is like this cookie cutter, like made up world of entrepreneurship or like living the high life.
And that gets me to think about dominant players or incumbents, like Amazon, WeWork. It's almost scary how much power these companies have, man. It's like, I think you and I might have been riffing the other day, and it came up that all of Netflix is hosted on Amazon
AWS
Web Service. And all of Snapchat
as
like
well,
there are
so
entire publicly traded companies that exist in Amazon's cloud. On top of the fact that they're at this point, their majority of volume at USPS, they're controlling logistics. They moved early into controlling all of voice. They moved heavy into offline by buying Whole Foods.
I mean, number one is protect the home, like attack the home. That's how Amazon has got it, man. Like protect or attack the home. Samsung's doing the same thing with the smart home.
Shout out to Samsung.
Shout out to Samsung.
We may or may not be doing some work.
Samsung ambassadors. What else was I gonna say? Like people who are attacking the smart home or like making life easier at home are winning all across the board. I mean, outside of Facebook, which is technically creating your digital community. It connects your digital community, so that's still at home. Like you can sit at home and be on Facebook for hours. And be lost.
It's mind blowing though, because back to this big company thing, it's almost scary how much power and leverage. And if you think about the startup community, and we're in the startup community, we invest in startups, and all a startup hopes to do is exit into one of these big companies. Like it's all being rolled up to these big companies,
because the IPOs are not as prevalent right now.
They're not as prevalent. For anyone listening, companies are staying private longer because, hey, what need is there to go public? If there's plenty of capital in the private markets, so companies like Airbnb, high valuations. You don't have public scrutiny, so you get
Correct.
the
You get a 90-day cycle.
No, you don't have shareholders breathing down your back. So you get the comfort of kind of doing whatever you want to some degree. And what incentive is there to go public?
Yeah, and then once you exit to a large company, usually you have worked with that company before, and it's almost like a mentorship play where you get to roll it into the company. You get to be a CEO inside, just like the young gentleman at Instagram. He's the CEO of Instagram still inside of Facebook.
Right. But that speaks to the whole the landscape acquisition and how, I appreciate whenever there's a company like Snapchat that rides it all the way, goes public, and becomes their own behemoth. It's a daunting thing to think that you might be able to do that. But
it is. I mean, I just think that Snapchat has been so wrong to a fault. You know what I'm saying? They haven't yet listened to any of their users. They haven't listened to the market, and that's all the way to a fault where Snapchat against Instagram. Snapchat is something that was not for marketers. It's for privacy, for exclusivity purposes, and to just have fun. And they did that to a fault where everyone they were purging themselves from like doing Snapchat and Instagram at the same time, because Instagram listened to the users. Instagram gave you more flexibility, and at the end of the day, Instagram said, we are a marketing tool.
Exactly.
We're ad tech.
Right.
And we are going to provide to the big boas out here. And Snapchat was like, fuck off.
Right.
So we'll see who wins that battle. It doesn't look that great right now.
I agree that the big difference is that Instagram is just an ad tool with Facebook's back end. But still, there's a very, very large demographic that exists on Snapchat that you can't find anywhere else.
Undeniable, man. The young people, and I'm not sure if you're doing this on the trains or when you're flying. Like I'm always looking at other folks' phones to see what
people are looking at. Yeah.
What are they using? And man, it's crazy how many people are still using Snap. Some people are saving down Snap for the filters. Or for some of the emojis and characters that you can use.
They're on Yik Yak. They're on a bunch of things.
Yeah, and then they'll just save it down and they'll throw it up on Instagram stories. So it's still happening, but I mean, Instagram's just so far ahead right now. They
are. And so I'm going to rattle off company names. You're going to tell me what you think of them.
Got it.
Okay. Or I'm going to name a space and you tell me a company that comes to mind that you're excited about.
Got it.
Okay. Let's start with your wheelbarrow. Fashion.
Okay, I was like, my wheelbarrow, is that a company? Fashion. So fashion is one of the first movers, I feel like, in marketing and tech. Just because it's just so user friendly and everyone buys e-commerce and it's already online. So I think they're one of the fastest movers in any type of category. In marketing per se, LGBTQ community, some of the biggest brands have moved into that community so quickly. Everyone's much more archaic. Also into Black, Hispanics, and women. They've moved so quickly into that community as well, which is why folks like you and myself get so much work right now. Is because it's just such a hot commodity right now.
So what do you make of the fact that fashion companies, fashion houses? So it's interesting that you say that. They are more progressive than other industries because it's at the DNA of fashion. Fashion is to be current.
Quick batch, turn around,
right. Trends
changed yesterday.
So their job is to be current. Part of that being current is being ethnically diverse, culturally diverse, and LGBTQ, what have you.
Yeah.
So they're shifting their marketing dollars, right? But they're going through influencers.
Yeah.
Like you and I. But the majority of the equity is not owned by people like you and I. So they're just kind of, let's just call it for what it is. Hey. They're using influencers on social media so that their brand temporarily has a brown face, has an LGBTQ face, so that they can appeal to these demographics and make money off of them. Say I'm wrong.
That is not wrong, but that is capitalism. Capitalism is built off the back of taking advantage of underutilized resources or markets.
I agree. Right? I'm not saying it's not smart.
Rush. This is the gold rush right now. Black people, women, Hispanics, LGBTQ are the gold rush, specifically in marketing.
I'm not saying it's not smart. I mean, it's smart. I would do the same thing.
Right.
I do the same thing.
For us to, I think, to be unapologetically us. right? And to be uniquely us. And so that we can tell our own propaganda and create our own spaces and our own companies.
Yeah.
And invest into people who look like us and to start carving those aisles and those lanes for folks like us to continually go forward and go farther.
Agree. I mean, I think the way I look at it is I'm going to make my checks and stack my cash and play this role for as long as that makes sense to, which is, by the way, not very long.
Right.
So I already
Donald Glover moment pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I do not innately feel as comfortable being an advertisement, and that's a fundamental difference between your and I approach.
Yeah.
You know, this is an art form that's natural to you. You thrive in it. You do really well. Shout out to that Xenia ad, by the way.
Can we throw that up?
Yeah, let's throw the Xenia ad up.
Dude, but I want to even jump in right there. Like, I was thinking about this the other day because I know that me and you we're parallel, but we're definitely different in terms of marketing and content creation.
Yep.
And I just see myself as Kevin Hart right now, bro. Like, if I can be working with more brands, if I can be on more stages, and just creating more valuable content outside of fashion, then I cannot lose. Right, my team and the folks who I'm around cannot lose, and then I want to get to the point where I can be like Kevin Hart and have, I think it's Heartbeat Productions, and like just create everything of your own. Who's the only person who is not an athlete has his commercial played over and over and over again during the NBA Finals?
Exactly.
Mountain Dew. They're not even playing the Russell Westbrook Mountain Dew campaigns. They're playing Kevin Hart, acting like he's a wrestler or like drag racing.
Yep.
And I mean, Gabrielle Union's in there, so shout out to the ladies. Gabrielle is doing that McDonald's commercial. And actually, that's a good pivot. If McDonald's or a company like that, which you may not really work with or eat.
By the way, I find McDonald's delicious.
I don't.
Like, people have slept on them, but they have upgraded to real beef, just want to say, and it's really good.
And guys, 100% marketing from McDonald's. I do not believe that's real.
But your point's legit, right? Like, your point's legit. But before I explore that, I want to go back to that Kevin Hart thing, because it is interesting.
And so that's my perspective of like what success looks like for me, and maybe we're getting into that for you now.
So the Kevin Hart situation, he's one of the top earning guys. So he's one of the highest paid actors, I think, last year. Might have been the...
Remember, we talked about the highest. The highest, very funny, was Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yes.
Beat out Kevin Hart?
Mark Wahlberg is The Rock was second. Kevin Hart was like top 5.
Wow.
But The Rock was number 1 the year before. But Mark Wahlberg, it's a great article. Maybe we'll put the link in there.
So that's interesting. Like, how did he bring up his relevance score? Like, how?
Kevin?
Yes. How is he so relevant?
He's the person who I talked about when I say every celebrity is 10 years in the making, or overnight success is 10 years in the making. Like, he says that repeatedly. He's been in show business for 17 years.
Wow.
And he had a perspective, I believe, similar to mine. If I could do 1, 2, and 3 better than anybody for an extended period of time, I'm undeniably going to raise to the top. The cream always raises to the top, right? And it's someone said that in baseball before, like, best players always go to the Yankees. Don't matter. They always go to the Yankees. So play your best baseball, and you're gonna make it on that Yankees team.
Word. So I like that, because that's execution and then the patience.
Yeah. Can you survive? That's the whole point. Like, it's Darwinism. We talked about this on the last podcast. Like, survival of the fittest. This game is not fair. Sorry. This game is not fair. Sorry. You need to scrap your way from A to B. And there's so many different ways to get from A to B.
Got you. Man, so that got me thinking. So you compare your approach to Kevin Hart
or Donald Glover, man. It's just like, put in that work, man. Put in that work, and you can be very different.
Right.
Kevin Hart's a shoe deal, has his own like streaming jokes online platform. He has his own production studio. He is like one of the top ambassadors. Like, this guy is crazy.
I compare my style more to Jay-Z. And
You always cheat. You cheat every time. Like, can we get some underdogs? Yeah, Nas, Jay-Z.
No, but with
Kanye.
the reason I liken my style to Hove is for a few very fundamental
and you
reasons.
get so much smell test approval just from saying that. I was talking with Andy. Remember we were talking to Andy, and what was it? It was the one comment when Jay-Z said he's not using N-word anymore. Oh, because the Kendrick thing. Kendrick brings someone on stage. She says the N-word. He says you can't say that. And then out of all the entire music hemisphere, Jay-Z says, yo, I'm not using N-word anymore. And now he gets to get all the headlines.
Right.
And he knows how to do that. And so by you dropping his name, now you get to win the entire
I'm
bottle.
trending. Y'all been trending years. Y'all a couple days. Anyway, so the reason I use Hove is because fundamentally his style has resonated a lot. So forget status for a moment, right?
It's hard to forget his status.
So let's decouple his status and anyone else's status and bring them even playing field. And what we're talking about is approach, right? So your approach is, I'm going to do as many gigs as possible consistently, with as many brands as possible. And, I'm going to win over time. And we've seen, as Kevin Hart's proven, that works. My approach is a little bit different because Hove from the jump. Hove from the jump. Hove from the jump never wanted the whole entertainment side of the business to be his core.
God, I think that's all marketing though.
He didn't want to be dependent on that business.
Because he's a business.
Right. And I'm observing in my own career how much power and leverage you can retain for yourself when you're not counting on that business to pay your bills. Right. And so some guys move into that space heavy and work it really well and do really well. You're an example of a young player that's doing that well. Kevin Hart, 17 years in the game, doing it well. I've preferred the path of building my own value through, businesses and other things. But just like...
And how do you leverage that? Is that through media?
Well, just like Hove, I'm also really interested in the potential that being public facing has. It's so much value, right? Like money has value.
Social has value.
Social currency has value. But, fame also has its own special kind of currency, right? Because if you take $1 million check from a random guy versus $1 million check from Jay-Z, Jay-Z is going to ring...
a different game.
Exactly, right? So I see the value that has, and I want to play the system. But there's a reason that the moment he stepped into the music game, he came out with Rockefeller. He's like, yo, talent doesn't get treated fair.
He's smart. Rockefeller. Of course I'm going to have Rockefeller Records.
You know what I'm saying? And then...
Guy's a genius.
There's so much that if you dissect the business playbook that we can apply. For instance, I just cut recently a TV deal. And talent is just treated like shit. It's just true.
Yeah.
Talent
across the board
is treated like shit when you start. So you don't have the leverage until you do. And having gone through the process once, I immediately told my EP, the next time I'm going to do this, I'm going to be...
ownership.
I'm going to be on the different side of the table. I'm going to be a producer. Because when you can retain control, I'm not even getting any, royalties, not getting any of that. And you know what? I shouldn't. I don't deserve it yet. Right? Because I'm not bringing that much value. Right now, I'm getting the outsized value because they're going to put me on a big platform. But I'm just saying, I resonate with Hove's style because he's always been about controlling what you do from a position of ownership.
Got it.
Right? And it's a longer, harder path. Maybe they're just as long and honestly just as difficult. But
you just got to find the one that's right for you.
That's what it comes down to.
And that's why it's great to have both of us on here because we seem extremely similar. And
we're both brown.
We're both brown. We live in the same apartment complex and we invest in the same companies. So we look very, and we have large followings. We look very similar.
On paper.
But we have different perspectives. And that's the difference between Hove and like Kanye.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Hove is very exclusive, very secret. He comes out when he needs to come out. He has the best media team ever. This guy's on every article. Anytime anything ever happens in hip-hop, black culture, Jay-Z has an article that comes out.
Right.
Kanye's another one, man. Kanye just say what you feel. Just say it. Let it out. See what the world says.
Right. And then you have like Puff style.
I like Puff is more my style, man. Like you just, this is my life. You are just seeing what's going on, and I live my life with no regrets.
That guy's wild, bro.
I say yes to most things, and I'm just don't care.
That boy is wild.
He's a wild dude. He's from Harlem, man. What's that? Harlem? Can you imagine if you became the like top 5 richest black person in the world, how you would feel?
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah. You would have, 6 kids. You would have 3 different, baby moms.
You know what? So I want to do a timestamp moment right here, right? Because we're just talking about all the top players that we grew up with, Hove, Puff, whatever.
Got it.
I'm putting it out there right now. I'm calling it. I'm gonna be one of the top players. I'm gonna be one of the top. I gotta find out what category. Maybe of all time. Wow. Dare I say? There you
go. Heard it first, son. Chop it up.
Look. Damn, I see. The thing is, you have to define top. You have to define what have you. But I think I'm just gonna be one of the top players of our generation, and I think it's in saying that boldly, like you move,
speak it into existence.
Yeah, you move that confidently in that direction. But the special thing is, I think a lot of the players that we roll with are gonna end up being the top players of our generation,
our community.
I don't know about the community. I mean, like
the small group of folks that we play with.
This inner circle that we have going on are going to be the top players in our generation. I
agree. Because think about it. What we're doing in New York at such a high level, like it most likely has to be pretty high in any other market across the globe. So it's interesting. It's an interesting fact. I'm glad that you brought that out. I want to say that I will be hustling out here, and I'm going to be riding around. I'm getting it, and I think there's going to be a lot of surprises in the next like 2 to 3 years of like how much we expand and how many different areas that we go into, and the ownership play, and us documenting everything. Not to shout out to Gary Vee too much, but he wished he could document when he was 25.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 28, under 30. He wish he could do that.
Imagine being able to show this to our grandkids.
Oh, man, we are going to.
Right.
That's the exciting part. Transition to something else, huh? That got really deep.
Because I just brought up grandkids and immediately went.
I was like, yeah. What else is popular that's been going on?
I just want to get this off my chest. People that are listening and they see the value that this whole thing creates, sharing your thoughts. It's not about being the guru. We're not claiming to be gurus. Yeah. It's just about sharing your perspective and sharing where you're at in that moment. And people not doing it, I just think it's selfish. Yeah, wow. I think it's selfish if you don't fucking muster up the grit and muster up the effort to do something that's just gonna benefit. Like, people are waiting to hear what you have to say. Believe it or not, I know it sounds strange. You're like, well, me? What could I bring to the table? Yep. But the more you put out there, the more potential you have to positively impact someone who could listen. So I think it's selfish almost if you don't put out to the world what you need to be putting out there, man.
Wow. And so you're almost talking about like just sharing your experience is a skill and is a value add to the community. And if someone doesn't share their unique perspective or their experience, other people may not be successful because they didn't learn from you, or because they didn't play a part in it, or because they didn't give you feedback so that you can get better and inspire and create this like new avenue. I keep talking about avenues today. This is like me mowing a new avenue. Sorry. But I like that. I like that. And they are. I guess that is selfish.
It's selfish if you look at it, man. It's like, damn, you don't want to bring out to the world what you know that you could bring out because what? Because you don't want to, because it's too hard, because you'd rather chill. Why? Right? Like, and by the way, people say that they'd rather chill, but I know in their heart they don't. because I know that people are having these half-ass, uninspired conversations with people at shitty bars and dim lights and shitty beers. And at the end of the day, they go home and they know that they feel like time was wasted, but they still hide under the disguise of, I just wanted some free time, wanted to relax. People don't want to chill as much as they say they want to chill. And that's why when they hear, motivational content, they're inspired and uplifted. Yeah, because that is their actual yearning. But it's so much easier to hide behind the excuse of, hey, I need to take care of myself, I need to chill, I need to relax. That's just selfish.
True.
You're selfish. It's selfish.
So guys, do John a favor. Stop being selfish today. Get on your phone. Get on your camera. Get on something.
That sounded like a motivational ad.
Yeah,
so do yourself a favor. Get on the phone and just dial.
No, well, what I'm saying is that what you're saying is there's a place, there's a platform, there's a safe space for everyone to create, or for everyone to at least just document. Always be documenting, always be creating.
And that space is, you said safe space. The space is not always going to be safe. And that's what people are afraid of. Like, if it was a safe space, if you did have training wheels, then people would do it. But it's not that fucking scary, guys. It's not that fucking scary. Whatever it is that you want to do, people hit me up and say, I'm an aspiring blank. Just fucking remove the word aspiring.
Yep.
And then you're that thing.
Got it.
It's not that scary. Just get in and get this shit going.
Wow. I mean, I'm not sure if we're done, but maybe that could be the question of the day. It's like literally,
I like that.
What is something that you aspire to do that you just haven't even put one toe in the water on? And why are you not inspired, or why don't you want to document, or why don't you want to create around it? Because we want to help folks not be selfish anymore.
Don't be selfish. Don't be fucking selfish.
This episode is called Don't Be Selfish. Episode 5, Don't Be Selfish.
I love it. So yeah, I like that. Question of the day.
And I guess we're not going to answer that. Because
phrase it again. Question
of the day. So this goes straight out to you guys. I don't think we're going to answer it because it's obvious that we're documenting, creating, and sharing everything that we can. But if I want to be vulnerable, sometimes I hold on to some stuff. There's like videos that Andy has created for me that I haven't put out yet just because I didn't think that they were perfect.
You're being selfish.
I'm being selfish.
You're more concerned with how that's going to reflect on your brand than all the people that you could positively impact.
And the funny thing, as soon as we started putting out Chop It Up, I just started hearing people say, yo, you should put out more YouTube videos. People are looking at my old YouTube videos. Yo, bro, you should really put out more. And that was like... You know what I'm saying? That was heart-touching. I was like, wow, I really need to. And then Andy always gets me. Andy's my videographer. He's like, B, we got to put this stuff out like yesterday, man. Like, you're killing me. Like, and he kind of puts a stop on my on some of my content creation. He's like, dude, I'm not editing anything else until you put out the stuff I already edited.
You got to appreciate that.
Yeah, you got to appreciate that.
That's awesome.
2 solo entrepreneurs or 2 like single entrepreneurs helping each other out as colleagues. So question of the day is, what are you aspiring to do that you haven't even like had one seed and watered it or put one toe in the water about? And is there something that we can do to be helpful? Or what do you think would be helpful to get you to jump in with 2 feet?
Boom. Let us know, guys. Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Yes. Please subscribe. And see you next week.
Peace.